Welcome to another episode of the Roughly Related to Reselling podcast. My name is Perry Phillips. I go by Perry Flips on Instagram with a Z, Pothead Picker on X. Flips and Giggles is the eBay store. It's also the Whatnot stream now, or the Whatnot account name or username. And then Flips and Giggles also on Facebook. So that's the name of the business. That's the way it goes. Another week in reselling. My house looks like a fucking bomb went off. There's like, because I was cleaning up at the house yesterday. And I was like, man, it's a mess down here. And my wife was like, yeah, that's all you. And I looked around and I was like, oh shit, it is. Because usually it's the kids. And like this time it was like I had like clothes here, toys here. So yeah, let's get into another week of reselling. It was actually like a good weekend. The weather, like weather-wise, a lot of sales. There were some pop-up sales. It was a tough weekend because it's I don't know if you've ever heard of. There's this like big bicycle race that they do every year. It's called the Pan Mass Challenge. I don't know why I was struggling with that. So it's like they do it to raise money for cancer research, I believe. I don't know if it's research or what it goes to. Some cancer related fund, maybe the Jimmy Fund. I don't know. Maybe they're their own fund. I don't know. They do a good thing. But every year they come and like their last stop before they break for the day is like my town. It's like right up the street from my house, like their route. So there was like a combination of that and just like, summer traffic here gets a lot worse because everybody's trying to get to Cape Cod. And then there was like a huge fire. One of my yard sale friends was telling me he was trying to get to some sales and there was like a huge fire. And so yeah, I cut yard sales short early on Saturday because of that. Like I went to a few and then there was a couple more that I wanted to get to. But yeah, the traffic was crazy. It was like there was a one sale was, so if you put the GPS from my house to that sale like regularly, I think it was like an 8-minute drive or 10 at the most maybe. So to get to that sale, it was like 45 minutes from where I was, but it was a 20-minute ride from my house. And then again, like an 8-minute ride, you know what I mean? So it would have been like quicker to just go to my house and then go over there. Obviously the traffic would impede that, but it added like, another 15, 20 minutes just to go. There's never that much traffic. So it was just like a lot of combinations of things. So I was just like, you know what? It wasn't a great day Saturday, like, fines wise. I found a few things, nothing crazy, but, some bread and butter, some stuff that'll go up on eBay. So yeah, I'll get into that in a minute. Yeah, I can't, I'm like at the stage of my reselling journey, I guess if you'd call it that, where I want it out of my fucking house. I'm sure my wife was at that point, like in our last house, because it's just tough. It's like we get home like this weekend. My wife worked, so she worked on Saturday and Sunday, and then she worked today too. Typically, she only works like 2 on, and then like but whatever. Sometimes she does 3 in a row. So she did 3 in a row this past weekend. So it's kind of tough. I go out. My mom watches my oldest. She can't watch the youngest, so I bring the youngest with me. Run around to yard sales, and then when I come back, I gotta unload all the yard sale stuff. Get the kids there like settled in for like lunch. They're usually ready to play outside at that point if the oldest hasn't been out. And then by the time I'm like done, but by the time I get a break time, like it's their nap time or whatever, I'm just like, I don't even want to look at my stuff right then. I don't even want to take pictures of it. So I was kind of in that phase. Like, what day was it? I think like yesterday, but I got another big t-shirt haul that I'll go into in a little bit later in the podcast. But I got that, and I was like, I sat down on the couch and like immediately was just like, all right, I guess I'll get up and just I'll take a couple pictures of the stuff that I got. And I ended up like getting out a big tapestry, laying it on the ground and laying out like 50 t-shirts for a picture, like to get them all in a picture. It took me forever. And then the picture kind of sucked, but I was like, you know what? I don't give a fuck. It took me forever. I took the picture. I'm posting it on Instagram, and I just fucking posted it. So, yeah. But like even today, I was like, I didn't realize until because I'm thrown off because usually my wife like when she works Saturday, Sunday, she's off Monday, so I'm thrown off today because I'm like thinking it's still the weekend, but it's actually Sunday, and so I'm like I was doing my shit because we had to go to the grocery store. Every Monday, it's pretty much the same thing. We go grocery shopping. The trash has to go out every Monday, so it's like just these things that have to get done at the house every Monday. And so I wasn't even thinking about doing a podcast. I've got a ton of shit to go through. I have I also got a big toy collection. I'll talk about that as I get going. But yeah, I have like a ton of shit to do, and I was just like, and then I remember I was like, fuck, I need to do a podcast, and then I was thinking, I'm like, oh, my wife is off the next couple of days. It's honestly harder to do a podcast when my wife is home because then she's like, unless I specifically am like, hey, get the fuck out, she'll just be walking in and out. Like, you know what I mean? I have to be like, and which I do tell her that, but like, we had a whole argument a few weeks back about the podcast because I like asked her like, hey, I want to do the podcast. Like, I'm going to do it when they're at rest. And she was just like doing God knows what. But because I didn't like specifically tell her like, hey, I'm ready now, I went in, I was like, all right, I'm all set up. And she took that as like, all right, he'll let me know when he's ready to push play. It was a miscommunication, obviously. These things happen when you're married. But I was just like, what the fuck, man? Like, it's almost harder to just do it when other people are here. So I'm just like, I'll get it done. My youngest is asleep already. I actually don't have the monitor. I don't know where the fuck the monitor is. But I just went up and checked before I started to make sure she was asleep because she's the one that you have to watch. The older one, I'll go up and check on her in a little bit. She'll come and get me if there's an issue or if, she's not sticking shit in her mouth and eating shit. She's like 5, but I swear she's like already 14. You know what I mean? She's just like, just always talking shit, hella shit. So yeah, what the fuck was I talking about here? I had something else I wanted to get into before I got into other shit. Oh yeah. So the reason, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna sit down, take a break. You know what I mean? It's like the 3 in the rows. I know I've made jokes before about like women bitching about watching kids. It's really not the hardest thing. You have to like mentally prepare yourself for it, but it really, it does wear on you over time because my 5-year-old just is from the time she's up in the morning to the time that she goes to bed, she's constantly asking, what are we going to be doing today? What are we reminding me of stuff we did the last time, stuff I forgot to do. And it doesn't stop. It's just from the second she gets up and starts talking to me, she doesn't stop till the end of the day. So I get like the overwhelming thing, like this overstimulation. I get all that. I 100%. I snap at my wife sometimes, snap at the kids. So I get that. But yeah, the 3 in the rows, by the end of like the 3, and the third day usually is the day that they're like, all right, like they wake up with some bullshit and like one's shit all over the place, the other one's pulling the other one's hair. It's just usually that's how the third day goes. Today's actually been pretty easy. Not like a terrible day. And then where was I going with this? Yeah, today's actually been pretty easy. Went to the store and shit, and they were cool there. But yeah, I don't know. I just completely lost my train of thought. I don't remember where I was going with that. So anyway, yeah, I've been playing. When I play a new video game, it's tough. Because like back in the day, now I'm used to it. Back in the day, you'd sit down and I would just like play video games for, until I was just like, okay, I don't feel like doing this anymore. You know what I mean? Like now it's like, all right, I've got a set amount of time that I can play some video games before I either fall asleep or, my wife is done with her shit and she wants to come up and watch TV. So there's only like a set amount of time that I have for playing video games. But anytime I do get a video game, it's hard. Like at first, it was like I would devote all my time to like, not all my time, but just be like, all right, I want to get a couple minutes in here, a couple minutes in here. But now I'm playing like rotating between. I dusted off my old. It's not even mine. I got it at an estate sale a couple years ago, but I kept it. It was a Nintendo DS XL, and I started playing Pokemon Diamond. I had it in my collection, and I'd never played that one, so I was like, let me throw that one on. I haven't played a lot of the newer ones. Like a lot of the games that I haven't played. So I've played a bunch of the older ones. So I just started going through. And Crystal, I never played. I started Crystal a couple years back, and I didn't get very far, just because I got busy or whatever. But now I've been kind of on a nice little roll of like rotating between that and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which is fun. Like it's a fun game. I don't know if I've talked about it at all. I know this isn't like a gaming podcast, but this is just kind of shit that I've got going on real quick before we get into the reselling stuff. But yeah, it's fun. It's like you gotta, if you like steal from people and shit or you fuck with people, they like remember, and it's got like consequences, and you can become a criminal in certain cities and like you can't go back to those places. You can go back, but then you'd either have to like pay your fine or serve a prison sentence, or you get put in the gallows or whatever, so everybody can fucking sit there and fuck with you. It's a pretty crazy game. But it was hard. It started off like really hard. So it was just basically like I would play for like 20 minutes and accomplish absolutely nothing. But I was having a good time. So I'm now on like a couple weeks in. I haven't got very far. It's very much like, I'm afraid to like go out of the confines of the towns, because every time I've ventured off, like 9 times out of 10, I've run into not like ventured off, but like I'll go on a road and come across somebody. Like of those interactions, like 9 times out of 10, I've been killed by like bandits just going down. And there's no way, like you ride by them and the horse just fucking throws you off, and then they run up on you and fucking stab you to death on the road. I'm like, motherfucker. So that just kept happening to me. And then like I got lucky one time and I snuck up on one of them. He didn't see me come, and I just fucking stabbed him in his goddamn throat and stole a bunch of shit. There was like a bunch of stuff there that like he was robbing somebody else, and I just robbed the shit from both of them. It was pretty sweet. But yeah, that's what I've been spending my time when I'm not doing reselling stuff, has been playing some video games. So I do play video games too, which is why it kind of annoys me when people are like shitting on resellers for buying video games up and stuff, because I'm like, I buy them and I do play them. Like I do have them for a reason. Can't tell if that was a loud bang upstairs or outside. It sounded like it was like outside. I do wish I had the monitor, but I don't think I really need it. I will run up probably halfway through the podcast if I remember and go check on it. Go check on the situation. What else? So what was the last time I bought was Monday, and then so Friday I think was the first like reselling. Oh no, so Thursday I'll start with that. So the last time I did a whatnot auction, I don't know if I talked about this last week or not. I had it on my notes to talk about, and I don't think I got to it, but whatever. We'll just recap. So the last time I did a whatnot auction, it didn't go well. I put it up like a couple days in advance. I had like 1 or 2 people bookmark it, but nobody even showed up. Like, the stream started and nobody was in there for a few minutes, and I finally was just like, whatever. I was trying to sell Starbucks cups, you know what I mean? And I was like, was a disaster. And most people would be like, all right, I'm done with this. This shit doesn't work, you know what I mean? But I was like, you know what? Let's try. I got a ton of t-shirts. Let's just try to blow these fucking t-shirts out. I had like, I don't even remember, like 60 something t-shirts, probably 70. 70-75 t-shirts, something like that I had brought out for the Whatnot stream. And I did dollar starts on everything. I fucked up because I started like I asked if anybody wanted me to start with anything, and I should have just started, throwing shit out there. Because then, of course, somebody's like, I want the thing that everybody probably wanted, and I only ended up selling it for $4. Whether it was worth more or not, again, most of these t-shirts, all the t-shirts that I did on this Whatnot had been sitting in my eBay store. It was either stuff that had been, in bulk purchases that never, just never sold. So most of it was like paid for. There was a couple things that maybe I would have sold at a loss, but like a lot of it was stuff that I got for free. Some of it was my wife's old t-shirts that, again, have been on eBay that just haven't sold. So yeah, everything that we sold on that stream was like stuff that had just been sitting forever. So we started off, and like a lot of the stuff that I didn't think would sell sold for like more than I thought it would. Like some of the stuff went over what I thought it would go for. But it was just good to like clear out a ton of shit. At the end of the stream, I think we did 57 orders. I mean, between X amount of, buyers or whatever. I think there was probably like 8 to 10 different buyers because I had to package them all up the next day. I sent everything out the next day because I think you get paid like as soon as like 4 hours after they receive the stuff, you get paid out. But it went obviously a lot better than the last one. And now I'm like, I have a bunch more t-shirts that have just been sitting there that I'm like, all right, I think I want to do another sale. You know what I mean? Like get another sale going because, if we do this every week, eventually, it's like, I think we made 220 is what we cleared. Like it was like 3 something before. I paid like fees, X amount of fees, and then I paid $40 to promote. So I think it was like $313 in sales, and then after all was said and done, I think I cleared like 220 something. But yeah, I mean, I understand like I get the appeal of like being able to blow through inventory like that. But then the problem becomes like I know I'm not going to be able to get that much stuff that often, but I feel like I probably can because there's constantly people that are like looking to get rid of clothes. If I just start posting like, hey, I'm going to come around town, pick up your old clothes. I'm looking for old clothes for this reason, say the specific reason. I'm doing auctions starting at $1. Like, sell me your old shit and see how that goes. Cause it's hard with like donations for clothes and stuff. Cause even like, cause a lot of the clothes I'm looking for, it's like, they're not for people who are in need. You know what I mean? It's like a person whose shirts are barely together as it is doesn't want to buy like a vintage thrashed Guns N' Roses t-shirt. You know what I mean? Like it's not helping anybody, that stuff. But yeah, it was fun. My wife like really enjoys it. We need to streamline it. Obviously, like I need to look into more about how to streamline it and to like, use better we need to get a better camera and, just kind of figure out how to make it work a little bit better. We have no problem. Like we blew through, we did like, we went through, like we did 2 hours and we went through like 75 to 80 t-shirts or something like that. Sold like 57 of them. So I've got a few left that I probably will reuse for the next sale. And then I've got like a bunch that I want to clear out. But it's weird because I've like after that sale like was successful, I went from like thinking in my head like, oh, I'm just an eBay seller to being like, oh, I do live auctions now. You know what I mean? I was like, I kind of think that might have been, I'm hoping that was like the turning point of like, not like my whatnot, but just like, like, okay, well, let's do this every week now. Now I have my wife's attention. She sees that there's money. I'm like, okay, well, we could do this every week, and that's an extra $200 to $500. It could get even more as we get better inventory, better clientele. People start to come back to the streams. The quality, the production quality will get a little bit better. I've never been great at like producing shit. Like I'm a good idea man, and like I'll host some shit if you just give me something to say. I don't really get stage fright or I don't public speaking, fear of public speaking. I don't really get that a lot. I remember specifically like the day, like going back to the day where I had to do like a speaking thing or something in school, and I had done one like a few years back, and I like completely embarrassed myself because I like got up on stage and was just like, and it was like we had talked about doing some song or something, and I got up on stage and just completely, it was supposed to be like a funny parody song that I wrote in like 3rd or 4th grade. It was actually pretty funny. It was like going to the grocery store or whatever, and the teacher wanted us to sing it like to the whole school. I could do a parody album. I'm not lying to you motherfuckers. Like I could be Weird Al if I wanted to be a Weird Al type musician. I just like, I don't know what it is. I just sit and sing jingles all day. I grew up on jingles. I'll just be singing random shit, and then I'm like, oh, that was a jingle from like some random New England carpet installer from like 1997. You know what I mean? So I just have constantly singing jingles, and then I just make jingles up. If I was musically inclined, I could be like, what the fuck, the dude from 2.5 Men. I know his name is Charlie Sheen. It was his name. I think his name was Charlie on the show. The character Charlie Sheen played. He's like a jingle writer. That's how he became a millionaire. So I'm like, if I was musically inclined, I could write jingles all day. I don't remember how I got onto this subject of singing jingles. I really don't. But anyway, going back to that old performance, I was supposed to sing some parody song I wrote about the grocery store. And I just remembered this. I didn't write this down like to talk about this story. Sometimes I just start thinking about shit. So I remember like being really embarrassed, like, fuck man, that didn't go well. Like, it was like a talent show, I think, and we just went up, and me and this kid was supposed to play the clarinet or something. It was like one of those kids that just kind of like, it was my song and I wrote all the shit and like made it into like a funny thing. I think I took like a little toy, like a kid's shopping, like I think I wrote it on that, and like this dude was like playing the clarinet, and it was like all of a sudden he was part of the performance. You know what I mean? It was like, oh, you just wanted to be in on the attention. You know what I mean? And I think I just wanted somebody up there with me. But it didn't help. I completely looked like an idiot. So I remember like a few years later, I had to do a group presentation in like 7th grade. And I had to sing a song, like, that was like one of the things. Is like, oh, you could write a song. So I did another one. I was like, I'm going to do a parody song. So I did It's Been a While. I did like a cover of It's Been a While. And I think we recorded it or something, but like I remember before we had to like go up and present it and say all the shit, I remember thinking in my head, like, listen, if you just do the thing the way it's supposed to be done, it's not going to be nearly as embarrassing as if you walk up and you freeze and look like, you know what I mean? It's like, if you go up and you do the thing not that well, nobody's going to think that you're a piece of shit. Or like nobody's gonna think it's funny or laugh at you. But if you go up and you're like completely melt down, it's probably gonna generate at least a few reactions of laughter. Most people are gonna feel bad for you, but the general consensus is gonna be that it's gonna be laughter. So just anytime like I think like, oh, I have to do some, like, I've had friends that ask me to speak at weddings and shit like that. And people always come up to me after and they're like, oh, you did such a good job like speaking. Do you like speak at different? I'm like, no, I just don't want to look like a fucking idiot. You know what I mean? Like, I know how to read. It's not like, it's like I'm only going to look like an idiot if I go up there and like forget how to read. So, yeah, I don't remember why I started talking about that in the first place. Couldn't tell you why. I kept getting it a few times. I'm like, all right, I remember what I'm talking about, but I don't remember why I'm talking about being stage fright. Anyway, oh, well, because of Whatnot, yeah. And I need to get better at like, I don't get stage fright on Whatnot, but it's just very bizarre to me to be there live with people. And also, we're trying to do it fast because I'm like, I don't know how much time I have of your attention. You know what I mean? So it's like, I need to watch some videos on being a better Whatnot host and like how to kind of like, because we don't need to do that many t-shirts. You know what I mean? If we did just like a fraction of those t-shirts and just sell them for a little bit more, we could do weekly Whatnots for the next, I don't know how many weeks. You know what I mean? So I think that might be the thing, is just to do them shorter, do less. I know what's it called? The motivation to do longer, like, we're having a good time, we're selling shit, people are buying, so the motivation to continue it and keep it going is like obviously there during it, but I think it's going to be important to just like reel it in and do like, all right, we've got 30 things tonight, we're going to stick to these 30 things, and then anything we don't get to will get rolled over to the next week, or you know what I mean, but we're going to get through 30 things. We got through almost 80 things in 2 hours. You know what I mean? So in 1 hour we can get through a good amount of stuff. And then, the following week just do it again and again and again and again. So, so that went a lot better on Thursday night. There's like a few people, there's like one user that bought like a ton of shit. And then a couple others that bought like some stuff. But if you're interested in checking out the stream, like I had a friend who checked it out. He got $15 for using my link. So you get $15 to spend on the stuff. So I get $15 back from you, and you get something from my stream, whatever it may be. So you get $15 credit when you sign up with that link. So I will post that. I think the next sale, let me see, look at the calendar because I already have it booked. The next Whatnot sale is the 14th of August. So 2 weeks from the last one. Next Thursday night. Not this Thursday, next Thursday. And it'll be all, going to be blowing out a bunch of t-shirts. And then, I've got more t-shirts. I'll talk about that in a little bit. I want to go day by day for the weekend. So make sure you set your calendar for that. That's the next Whatnot stream. Flips and Giggles is the username for that one. So we're going to have fun. It's going to be, I didn't do any giveaways on the last one. I didn't know what to give away for a t-shirt thing. So this one, I don't know. I mean, this was the first one we didn't do any giveaways, and like it did better than all the other ones. I don't really like to do the giveaways because then you have to ship like an extra shit. I might just do it for the people who buy it. But yeah, I'm excited. I think that we've kind of turned a corner on it, and I found a little lane that we can kind of do easily that, we are all constantly, and it's a lot of like the shirts that I don't really like selling on eBay anyway. So it's, like I had a lot of requests for like nature shirts, which, I buy those all the time because I think they look cool anyway. And I know like people wear them. But I know that they don't do necessarily crazy good on my eBay page. So that I'm excited about. So that's, I've got a ton of those that I just got. So Friday, so the day after the Whatnot stream, there was 2 sales, like nowhere near each other. So I had to make a decision. I went to the first sale, and that one was like not too far from me, but I made like a rookie mistake. I got there first. There was like a sign out there for a estate sale. I saw the people walk in. I got there and parked, and there was like no signs of life. Then they pulled in and they went in. So I was like, all right, I guess like I'll go and wait and like start a line. So I just went and started a line. This guy came up, and I've recognized him. He's like an old reseller or whatever. So he's like, oh, they started letting people in. I was like, oh, they just kind of looked at me and went in. They didn't say anything. So I just waited till they were coming out. I wasn't sure if they were ready or not. And he just like walked up to the door and knocked, and they let him in, which was, I should have done that. But yeah, if I was that dude, I'd be like, here, you go in first. So I went in. I knew what he was there for because I've seen him before. So as soon as we walked in, I was like, hey, where's the jewelry at? And then she pointed me the direction. Of course, he was in front of me. So then he walks up to it in front of me. I just walked around and I grabbed a big bin of the jewelry and I just walked away. I don't play that shit, dude. Like, I know I should have just walked up. You were technically first in the house. Like, but like, yeah, I should have. Again, sometimes I'm too, like, it's not even like, it's always the sales that they will let you in that I'm like, I don't go up and ask. It's so bizarre. So anyway, I stayed there for a little bit. They had a ton of jewelry, but it was like it looked like a lot of costume jewelry. There wasn't great lighting, and it would have been hard to kind of find, anything in there. I think I ended up leaving with like a hat, a couple pieces of like costume jewelry, and like, I think that was it. I don't think I left with anything else. And then, so then I went from that sale to another sale, and I got to that second sale about a half hour early. So it just kind of worked out. But I got there and there was already another guy in the house, and he was looking through the jewelry. So I was like, all right, whatever. There's a ton of other stuff. So I just started picking through shit, like going through shit. And, I'm forming a pile. I picked up a thing of comic books. I wish I had not taken them. I mean, I didn't pay much for them, but I ended up like finding some cool vintage t-shirts and like other stuff. There was like these old vintage like classic rock carnival prizes. I missed the Grateful Dead one. I didn't miss it, but like the other guy got to it first. I grabbed the other 3. There was like 4 of them total, and the other 3 were by themselves, and this other one was by like off to the side for some reason. So I missed that other one, and that was probably the best one to get. It was honestly pretty sick. But before that interaction happened, I was like upstairs, and I have my bag, and I'm like going through, putting shit in there, and I see like this little pin that said New Era on it. So I just like picked it up, and it's on a table with like other junk scattered everywhere. You know what I mean? It's not in somebody's pile. Clearly not somebody's pile. And like that's how the whole house is. There's just like shit scattered everywhere. So I just pick it up and I'm looking at it, and the other guy, it's me and the other guy. That's it. Nobody else is at this sale at this point. And the guy who's doing the sale is following us around every room. I fucking hate when people do that. It's like, you don't have to. I'm not gonna steal your shit. I don't come to estate sales to. What am I gonna steal here? I'm here for old clothes. I'm gonna stick your fucking boxers in my shorts. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? So there's a little New Era pin, and I like pick it up, and the other guy like kind of awkwardly comes over to me, and this is the first time he's like interacted with me. And he goes, that's, I'm going to get that. And I go, this? I go, you're claiming this? He goes, well, what, did you want it? Did you want it? I go, no, but I just think it's weird that you're claiming it. I'm like, it's on the table. This isn't a pile. It's just on a table. Like, that's all I said. I just put it down. I'm like, and then this fucking dumb fuck didn't even buy it. He didn't even buy the thing that he was just like. And then after that, so then we were like, because the other guy, I think he heard that interaction. So we're still looking through shit, digging and picking or whatever. And he's the guy who's having the sale is like, oh, so you guys like competition or whatever? And the guy's like, oh, the other guy's like, oh, I don't think so. We're looking for different stuff. I thought, well, I guess we are competition. He makes like some little fucking stupid like comment. I wanted to get dragged into it. But at the same point in time, I was like, because I've seen him at sales before, and he's just like some weird fucking dude. But I wanted to after that. When he had the Grateful Dead thing, I wanted to be like, hey, I was gonna buy that. I mean, like, had I seen it before you, I would have bought that. I should have done the same shit and see what he said. It's just like so fucking weird to claim. So I didn't even want it, but the fact that you like, I just was looking at it to see because it said New Era on it. But then I bought a hat from that same sale, and I didn't realize that it had that same pin. Like, somebody had put that pin in. So I don't know. Maybe I'll look it up. It might be worth money. But he left it at the thing. He didn't pick that pin up. But yeah, and this guy like had this room. He's like, I haven't gone through anything in this room, so I'm not sure like what's for sale. And I was like, okay. And so he just like let me start digging. So I grabbed like a bunch of t-shirts out of like the thing and just threw them in the bag. But he didn't say anything when I cashed out. Like, I didn't know what he meant by that. Like, is there stuff I can't buy? Like, it was very bizarre. And then we went down to the basement. There's a bunch of shit. I thought the basement was going to be a lot better than it was. But yeah, I mean, I still got a few good things. I wish I had gotten that Grateful Dead thing, but I missed out on that, but I still got a lot of good stuff on that first, for a Friday sale. I'll take that because Friday sales usually don't pop off like that around here. And then Saturday was like, there's actually a lot of sales, not a lot, but like a decent amount of sales listed, few pop-up sales. I drove around in an area I don't typically drive around just because there happened to be sales out that way. But I got some Halloween masks, so that was pretty cool. I got this like big, it's like when I looked it up on Google Image, it came up as like bondage vampire or something like that from like Elusive Concepts. So that one I'm probably gonna sell, try to get a decent amount of money. I've sold vintage Halloween masks in the past, and you can get some good money for certain ones. And like if you ever find Halloween masks and they're in decent shape but they're hard, like because the old latex gets hard, you can fix that no problem, easy peasy lemon squeezy. You just you use a hair blow dryer and you just like blow it on. It fucking stinks. I hate the smell of those things. I bought 3 Halloween masks and I stuck them in the back of my car, like, as I was yard sailing, and that's all I could smell as I was driving around. I'm like, I fucking hate this smell. I don't know how people put masks on their faces, on their heads. Like, I found a mask one time and my kid was looking at it and she's like, can I put it on? And it was like pretty clean. It was like a brand new mask. It's the only reason I said yeah. Like, it was all the old nasty ones. I'm like, no. But it was like a brand new one. I was like, if you want to. And she put it on and I was just like, all right, take it off. It was like making me uncomfortable. I was like, take it off. I feel like you're breathing in all that rubber shit and I fucking can't stand that smell. But yeah, use a hot air blow dryer, and you just heat it, get it hot, and like just kind of like go over the part that's hard on the latex on the mask, and it'll eventually soften up, and then you can reform it to the way it's supposed to look, and you just kind of let it sit for a little bit. And it usually gets back to good. I got to do that to one of them. It's not too fucked up. It's just got a little bit of on the edge. So, and then one of them is like hair stuck to like 2 of them are stuck together. So I'm hoping that that'll fix that as well as the peel apart. It's like a nasty rubber skull with like stringy hair. It's fucking gross. I hate Halloween masks, but this time of year, they will sell for sure. That bondage one I want to get up. That's like my next project. So I'm going to work on that. My wife is off the next couple days. I'm going to take tomorrow as a work day and be like, you're with the kids today. So as much as I love hanging out with my kids, I'm so behind. And like you get to that point when you bring in a ton of shit, which I complained about this earlier in the year. I know I complained about it earlier in the year. And I think I said this earlier in the year as well when I was complaining about it, that it's a good problem to have, being completely overwhelmed with stuff. Especially going into August, you know what I mean? I'm not in any rush to kind of clear this stuff out. I have a huge pile of yard sale stuff that I know is going to clear up some space soon. So I'm just kind of waiting to figure out when I'm going to do that. Like I said, my neighbor wants to do a sale too. So I'm trying to figure out, like, he's an old guy. I don't want him outside in the blazing sun. So I think I'm going to try to get a hold of him this week and start locking down a day, see if he's okay waiting until September. Because, yeah, I'm going to have a huge yard sale. I've got tons and tons of clothes. So I had another guy who's like, he's like a buddy that I met through yard sales. I was like, yeah, I'm going to have a sale. But he's like, yeah, I've thought about like just bringing over a table and setting up at your sale. I'm like, did I ever say that was all right? Like, people are always like, yeah, could I set up at your sale? Like, what the fuck? Like, no, it's my sale for a reason. People come for my shit. Like, I've cultivated a sale that I'm not like saying, obviously, he could ask and I could say, yeah, whatever. I would be like, sure, you can take a little small corner. You set up over there or whatever. This one, I'm just not going to have space. Like, I've got too much shit right now. But yeah, I've had people do that before. Like, yeah, I can just come set up at yours, right? It's like, well, I've kind of done this for X amount of years. A lot of the people that come to my sales are like regulars that wait for my sales and know that they're going to be here. Like, you can set up and do your own thing, and not part of mine, on my property-ish. But like, yeah, So I don't know why that just bothered me as much as it did, but so then Saturday, I don't even remember where I was going from that. So Saturday just cruised around. It wasn't like the craziest finds of the year. I got a couple things here and there. I don't even remember what I all got. Honestly, it wasn't like super memorable. I got a big bin of Transformers. It was like Transformers, a couple of Voltron, some Power Rangers things mixed in. But I started looking that stuff up because I was like, they had a whole table of it, and it was like you could tell it was just like a woman trying to sell her kids shit. So I was like, what are the price of these? And so she's like, well, these big ones are $5, and so she had a bunch of the big ones. So I was like, would you do like a bulk deal for all of them? And normally I like let them throw out the first number. I should have probably thrown out the first number here. I was gonna say 60. She originally said 100. She asked her mom or her like grandmother or something, and she was like, hey, how much do you think we should sell these for? And she was like 100. And so I then I countered at 60, and then we settled on 75. And I think that was probably a good price. 75 was probably fine. I hate spending that much on toys just because you never know. But I started looking up some of like the Power Rangers, because Power Rangers is so hit or miss. It really is. Like, I buy Power Rangers all the time because I love Power Rangers, but I bought like a brand new sealed Power Ranger figure, like none sold, none listed. Clearly not the easiest one to find. It was from like the late 2000s or something like that. But it was not like, it wasn't one that there was like 100 listings of and like none sold. It was like there was none listed, a couple sold, and then like mine got listed, and I had it up forever. I think I finally sold it for $20, and I thought it would go for a lot more. I mean, I didn't pay much for it. So Power Ranger stuff is very hit or miss, but I looked up a couple of the dolls or toy dolls. My 11-year-old me would be like, they're not dolls, they're action figures. So I looked up some of the figures of like the Power Ranger ones, and this set that it has, it's like a set of like the big ones that all connect together. Those ones were looking like they were pretty good. So I should make my money back easy on at least just the Power Ranger stuff alone. Like, I haven't even gone through this bin. I've been so busy, but there's like a bunch of stuff in there. I grabbed a couple of loose figures, threw it in there. So they had some Lego too. They had 2 bins of Lego, and she was like, I would do $50 for both bins. And I really thought about it. I should have been like $100 for all of it and take it or leave it. And she probably would have taken it. But it was a lot of bricks. There was a few figures mixed in. I didn't see any like Star Wars or anything like that. So I was like, I don't feel like dealing with Lego. I'm already overwhelmed as it is. So I left the Lego and took the toys. But it was my first big toy haul in a long time. Like, to just wear, like, usually you find like just a bin of toys. You're like, hey, let me, you know what I mean? Put an offer on it. Haven't come across a big toy bin in a long time. When I first started reselling, it'd be like every other sale you'd come across just a bin of miscellaneous toys from somebody's childhood. Oh, those are my favorite. My favorite are like random estate sales where just everything's out on the lawn and you just are like finding old toys after old toys. So I have a feeling I'm going to run into one of those this year, because usually there's a couple of those a year. But yeah, so Saturday was all right, masks, and again, nothing to like complain about. It wasn't like, just for the first Saturday out, I thought it would be a little bit better. It was fun. It was fine. We weren't out that late. I didn't want to be out that late because of the traffic. And so then I get home Saturday, and like I always check just because people are hella late to post things on Facebook. Sometimes people post things at like noon and they're like, hey, we're doing a sale from 2 to 6. You never know. I just always check Facebook. So a sale popped up and it was listed, because sometimes you can see like how many hours ago it was listed. So it was 2:00 and it said that the sale was listed an hour before that at 1:00, and the sale itself was ending at 2. So I saw the listing when the sale was ending, and the sale had just been posted like an hour before that. And so I sent them a message because in there they had like a bunch of pictures of like old stuffed animals, old Star Wars toys. So it was like a lot of like old stuff. And then they had like a picture of vintage T-shirts. And so it was like, oh, vintage clothes or whatever. So I was like, oh, hey, just wanted to see, because it was the end of the first day. I was like, hey, I missed your ad the first time around. Just wondering if you still have a decent amount of T-shirts left, and or if a lot of them sold or whatever. And she was like, no, we still have a ton left. Like, we weren't busy at all yesterday. They only sold, like, they probably sold a handful. I saw a couple in the picture that weren't in there when I was looking through. So yeah, it was just like, so she was like, oh, everything's $5. Like, all of the vintage clothes was just $5. You know what I mean? So I was like, if I buy a bunch of T-shirts, will you give me like a bulk discount? And she was like, well, it depends on how many you get. And I showed her my pile. I was like, I already have like 20 to 25. Like, I was like, and I haven't even gotten over, you know what I mean? I'm still looking through. And so she was like, she went from $5 to $4 a piece. So I was like, all right, whatever. Like, she didn't have to do that. They were already like marked off half off for the second day. But it's like, lady, come on. You didn't advertise this thing well at all. Like, I'm sure somebody's going to come by and buy a bunch of it, but so whatever, it's her prerogative. So I ended up buying, I think, 50 T-shirts. It wasn't like anything crazy, but it was just like a lot of it was good condition, clean. There was some other like vintage stuff that I wanted to get too, but I was like, I didn't want to spend that much money on like that other stuff, because like the T-shirts I know I can at least sell on Whatnot now, because a lot of it was stuff that was requested on Whatnot, and then there was like a few stuff that I could definitely sell on eBay to make my money back and then do like an auction. So I think I'll do really well on those T-shirts. But yeah, she had some more left. I messaged her after, because she had like those, it was like Trust brand. They're like the button up long sleeve or short sleeve shirts, like kind of like anime style. And those looked like they were going for like $30 to $40 like all day. But I don't want to spend $4 to make, you know what I mean? Like, on the off chance that they don't actually sell for that. So I messaged her after and was like, hey, just seeing if you had, what you had left, if you'd be interested in doing a bulk deal. So she said she had 100 pieces that she would do $100 on, which is a good deal. But I was like, I just don't want to spend that. So I said I would do 60, and she was like, oh, I would do 75. And I said, well, I'll probably hold off on that. So they're going to be gone all week this week. I'll see how I feel on like Thursday. If I decide to pick that stuff up, I might. But a lot of it was stuff that would just end up donating. And like, there was some good stuff in there, I'm sure. And I asked her, I was like, because I've been asking people where they get a ton of T-shirts now. Because I'm like, I need to find out where you guys are getting. Because this is the second huge haul of T-shirts. This one was actually, oh shit, I forgot to set my fucking thing off. So this one was actually probably a better T-shirt haul than the last one. I mean, there's a couple fire T-shirts in the last one, like, that are probably better than most of the ones in this one. But just overall, these were all from the 80s and 90s. A couple of them had some stain issues, but like a lot of them were like really clean. So yeah, so I asked the girl, because there was like an older lady and a younger lady, and I asked the younger chick, I was like, hey, like, can I ask you where you got all this stuff? She was like, this is just our families. She was like, they all lived, she had like a portion of her family that all lived in like a duplex or like a one complex. And she was like, the last one finally passed away recently. And like, she's like, they just kept everything. So this is just like an entire family's worth of clothing from like going back years. So they had like modern clothing too, and they had that separated. But yeah, I got a bunch of stuff. I was laughing because we sold 57 T-shirts on Thursday, and I probably, between the sale Friday and then those T-shirts on Sunday, I probably brought back in 57 T-shirts. I'm like that's just how this fucking reselling thing goes. I'm like, oh, I was so happy to clear space and sell some shirts, and then like immediately I'm like, oh, I have to do this again every week, huh? So yeah, and then when I was going home on Saturday, I had like a really interesting interaction with there's a guy, I've seen him around. I think he wants to be friends with me. I don't want to be friends with him. I don't. He's like probably a little bit younger than me, probably like in his 30s, but he lives with his parents. And like every time I've gone, he has a sale occasionally. And anytime I go there, I just go there to buy shit for myself. You know what I mean? I know I'm not going to get a deal that I'm going to sell stuff. He knows his shit. But he always has like, he's had this jacket at his sales forever. That's like a vintage jacket that he like put all these metal patches on. He's like a metalhead. So he's got all this cool metal shit. But he's like, you know, his prices are still pretty crazy. Like he had a bunch of them that he wanted $4 a piece for these CDs. And again, that's like a good deal. But like I just had to basically, like I had got a CDs for $20. I just sold the lot of them for $50. You know what I mean? Like that's not a huge, and those are CDs that you would have sold for a lot more like a few years back. So I think CDs are kind of cooling off now. And these was like metal CDs. So that's why I was like, he wanted $4 a piece. And he counts them up. And this is something I always am like, that always blows my mind. People don't understand like bulk pricing. So he's like, oh, I wanted $4 a piece. I'm like, oh, well, what would you do for all of them? And he just counts them and then tells me, he's like, oh, there's 40, so 140. I'm like, okay, so I could have done that math. You know what I mean? Like I'm asking if you're willing to give me a discount price, which I don't think he was. He probably would have given me a little discount. I guess if we became friends, maybe. But when I first got there, I pull up, and him and his dad have these, like, his dad, I don't know if this guy is autistic or what, if he's just like a lazy dude. I don't think he works. I mean, if he does, he must work somewhere like, because his dad just seems like he's at the fucking end of his wits with this kid every time I see him at this dude's sale. So I go up and I walk up to the thing and I'm like, I know I'm not going to like the answer to this question, but like, how much are your CDs? I didn't say all this. But I asked how much were the CDs. And the guy it's like the older guy is just standing there looking at me. And I know it's his son's stuff, but I'm like, all right, I'm going to wait until like, so I'm like, I don't see that guy anywhere. And at this point, I'm like, all right, I want to go home. Like I'm up the street from my house. I know I'm not going to overpay on most of this stuff. So I asked him again, I go, how much are the CDs? And he just kind of like looks at me. He's like, I'm like, okay. And he like, then he gets up. And so I'm like, can you not hear me? And so then I make eye contact with him. I go, hey, how much are these CDs? I want to buy, like, I'm wondering how much are these CDs? And he goes, oh, I don't know how to answer this or tell you this, but these are my son's CDs. And he just had a huge fit and told me not to sell any of his stuff. And then we went into the house. I don't know why he does that. I don't know why he gets all upset like that. I'm like, okay, so are you guys having a yard sale or not? Like, what? He's like, let me go ask him. So he goes and gets his fucking kid, and the kid comes back, and he's all pleasant and shit with me. He's like, hey, I know that guy. And he's like trying to talk to me and shit. Because I've had a few interactions with him, and I think he wants to be friends with me. And I'm just like, okay, ask him the price, whatever. I'm like, all right, I'll think about it. You know what I mean? I don't really have that much cash on me right now. I saw your sign. And but that was the end of the interaction. But it was just very bizarre. His dad is just like, every time I go there, it's like, it's fucking a weird interaction. And like, the problem is there's two different people that do sales on that street, and they're always last minute, and they always put the sign up last minute. One of them always has some decent stuff for cheap, and then the other one has some awesome stuff that's way out of my price range. So I have to drive down just to check, and like, half the time it's the one you think it's going to be, and half the time it's not. So, but yeah, I think that was like the last strange interaction of the weekend that I had. Again, I don't like try to get into shit with people. It just kind of happens. Yeah, that guy with the pin though, that was just like, it just really bothered me. It's like, you're claiming this pin. Like if there was something I wanted and it was something that small, I mean, obviously if it's like, valuable, if it's valuable, I'm picking it up and I'm holding it. If I thought I wanted it, it was that small that he could have just been like, hey, I'm just going to fucking hold this in my hand while I look. And, for him to come up and be like, hey, I'm buying that. Like, the fuck? And he's like, you want it. And then to try to act like I was confrontational, I'm like, you fucking came up. Like, if there was something that small that I was like, oh, fuck. Like, I got a Star Wars poster one time. It was like a vintage, like, 1970s. It was a nice poster, probably worth some money. And I brought it into a room and I put it down while I was looking through shit, walked out of the room, completely forgot to pick it up. And then as I was walking back to go grab it, I see some chick walking with it. I mean, at that point, she was hers. I was like, oh, I did this just in case, because, I can't ask her for it back. I put it down, you know what I mean? But what I can do is goes, oh, you found that? And I put that down. I didn't even think about it and walked away from it. I'm glad somebody picked it up. And of course, she wasn't like, hey, here you go. It was like, she just kind of was like, yeah, you fucking snooze, you lose. And I was like, yeah, I do. You know what I mean? Like, I fucked up. You can try, but don't be like, hey, I'm buying that. You know what I mean? Like, that would be like if I was like, hey, I'm actually buying that. I just put that down. And it's like, how the fuck do you know that? You know what I mean? Like, it was just sitting there. Like, it was sitting there with the rest of the shit. Like, so, yeah, you can't really walk up and claim something that's not yours. Especially in that situation. Especially since you know how, like, piles and shit works. You know what I mean? It's weird, too, like, my eBay. So, obviously I've neglected my eBay a little bit with getting the whatnot set up, but I list every day. Sometimes it's one or two things. Sometimes it's like 5 to 10. Like today I've listed like 7 things so far. I'll probably list like 5 to 10 more if I can, hopefully. Actually, probably 5 more. Let's be realistic. But like nothing crazy, like I was still listing stuff and like dropping prices and shit. And then like, my eBay store I'm like, oh, sweet. Like, I'm getting a bunch of whatnot money on Thursday that's going to be ready next week. And then eBay should be, like, pretty popping this weekend. And then eBay was I sold, like, 2 things all weekend. I'm like, do you fucking know that I'm cheating on you? Like, do you know I'm doing something else? Because I always thought that would work the opposite. But, like, I feel like they're like, you know what? We're going to punish you. Because I've removed a bunch of listings. Every time I remove a bunch of listings, they're almost like, oh, he's doing some other shit. You know what I mean? You would think that they would want you to get your store cleaned up. But, like, anytime I remove a bunch of listings, my store slows the fuck down. It's picked back up today. I have 2 offers currently pending me accepting them for, like, to get me over the $100 mark for the day. Which is, fine by me. I'm making $100 is hanging out at home. But yeah, it's like when one thing's popping off, it's like the other one goes silent. I'm like, can I just get everything to pop all at once? Can I I'm gonna have to change my name again to the broke reseller. Is there a broke reseller on Instagram? Because if not, I'm gonna claim broke reseller as my fucking username. I'm almost there. I know I'm almost there. The fucked up part is like my job that I had before this. I could be like, it would be so easy to just go in and do that job and make like $100,000 in a year. But I would just not see my kid all the time. I would have to pay somebody to watch my kid. It would be wouldn't be as fun, obviously. But like, yeah, I do hate like not just having money constant. You know what I mean? Like consistently. It's getting consistent. It's getting more consistent. This has been like, I started doing this in 2019 and it's now 2025. You know what I mean? It's like, and I'm raising 2 kids at the same time. So it's slow and steady. It's like, I see a lot of people that are like, I'm getting out of the reselling thing. It's like, good. Fucking, there's the door, dude. I'm here to stay. It's just, obviously, it's a lot of work. You've got to be okay struggling sometimes. You got to like know that you're going to be broke some of the time. But yeah, it's getting there. I'm almost like, I think like next year. I think I've got like, this is like my last year of just being like on the edge. So anyway, that's the end of the podcast. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything I wanted to talk about. I think I talked about everything. Yeah, I think I did. I talked about everything I really wanted to get to. So that's the podcast. Make sure that you like and subscribe, and make sure you tell your friends if you like the show. Hit the notification button so you are notified every time a new episode drops. Make sure you go ahead and follow on eBay and also follow on Whatnot. Whatnot, we're going to be doing another stream on the 14th at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, so 5:30 Pacific. Got a lot of t-shirts. I don't think we'll do as many as last time. I'm going to try to break this one up into a couple weeks so we can get a couple more sales. Other than that, I hope you have a good reselling week. I hope you find a lot of treasures and sell a lot of treasures. And hope nobody tries to touch your goddamn pin. Don't let them take your pins, okay? Stand your fucking ground, folks. Later.